so here we go with week 1 of the Lent Encounter. The first week is based on going back to the beginning, going back to our origins and thinking about the book of Genesis in the Bible. And for me and for Mike, we've just recently moved here to Arbroath just over 4 months ago, and so in some ways it's like a beginning for us. We arrived at a time when, although there had been significant relaxations over the summer following the first lockdown, things were gradually beginning to tighten up again. And I suppose you could say that there was definitely uncertainty. I suppose you could say there was some sort of chaos, and our usual lives as we knew them just weren't happening. So Mike and I weren't able to settle in the normal way that you would in a new area, to meet people, to perhaps join a gym, to visit local popular spots and sample cafes, etc. However, what we could do was daily exercise, and perhaps for a longer walk at a weekend. And so we had plenty of opportunity in these last 4 months to look at the beauty of God's created world in and around this area. So the challenge that I was given at the start of week 1 was scheduling in some awe time, to look at the world, to take photographs and to realise how wonderful it was. And to be honest, that's been really quite easy. And so you're going to see on screen some of my photos from walks that do appreciate the good that God has created in this area. You don't have to go very far to be able to see the intricate detail of natural beauty that's displayed all around us. And in Genesis in the Bible, it says that God is the source of that beauty and of all meaning and truth. And I suppose that has made me think about being intentional in the way I treat my surroundings, recycling, not wasting, all that sort of thing, because the surroundings were created to be enjoyed and not damaged. Now, as you know, over the weekend, the weather improved, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do one of the other things that we were asked to do on day 4, which was to look at the night sky. And when you look at the stars, so many of them up in that sky, it's easy to agree with the words of Psalm 8. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you've set in place, what is mankind that still you are mindful of them, human beings that you care for them? The man that's organised this Lenten challenge, a man called Andrew Ollerton, then wants us to move on to thinking about human beings and that part of the creation. And he quotes C.S. Lewis saying, "There are no ordinary people. You never talk to a mere mortal." In the study in the Manse, there's a similar phrase on the wall in a poem that we've got called the Desiderata, and that says, "Speak your own truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and ignorant, for they too have their story." Genesis reminds us that we are made in the image of God and that all of us are loved and we're valued. And perhaps that's something that we have realised more in the last 12 months because we've not been able to see one another. Human contact and conversations become so important. We've seen our lovely granddaughter over the last few weeks, but her aunties haven't been able to, and I know that they are really missing watching her grow. That's a small example, and I'm sure it's true for so many of you who are listening. So maybe now is a time more than ever to realise what we've missed and to respond as things relax. As I record today's video, the challenge for today is to bake a cake and give it to somebody that you enjoy. Now, I haven't done that yet, so you'll need to see the pictures of what I create next week. But we're also asked today to answer the question from Jesus, "Who do you say that I am?" And if that's Lord, then they ask us to stop worrying about what to do next and when, to step back from feeling that we're in charge, but to trust that guidance will be given. I'm finding that quite hard, partly because of my own personal nature, but also because as a new minister with all sorts of ideas and possibilities and plans in my head, I want to be getting on with it. But when I think back to the snowfall 2 weeks ago, when it came down, it's like a blanket that covers everything. It even dampens the noise of the reduced amount of traffic, and it stops most things. And I guess for me it was a reminder that we can't deal with everything. Sometimes we just have to stand by and watch it happen. But our Creator can. So why don't we trust him? That's it for week 1. See you again next week.